But let me try and say the following, that one thing that is clear, which is not in secret, I said this on Spice and I can say it here. There were those who were rejoicing because they thought we have, differences with Gachagua that could not be reconciled. The differences between me and Gachagua were because of what I was doing. I was looking for a Jubilee party which was being swallowed by animals I could not quite describe properly. I managed to get the party out of the woods. We give it a presidential candidate who has appeal across the nation. We have a national party that can be, if you are able to do a proper ignition, you will be able to ignite the whole country and they start looking at you. That we have achieved, and we are now at a point of saying we have a national party, we have a national presidential candidate who is has attention from all corners of this country. My face now is, where do I get members of parliament, members of the county assembly, governors, senators, women rep, and all that, so that the party becomes a party. Otherwise, we get reduced to a briefcase party. And one of the areas that we have to pay attention to is Mount Kenya. And while we were still struggling, while Matiang'i was trying to get his footing, Gachagua was able to make some moves, which maybe some of us did not quite understand, that he was actually trying to grow his party. But I think, let me say this, the following. Mount Kenya, since the death of Kanu in the mountain, have always been looking for a political home. I believe the political home they are now seeing that is stable is the Jubilee Party. The popularity of DCP, it is there. But the stability of that party is a thing that people in this region are talking about. That's a debate that would best be left to the people in the mountain. Because they now know that they need a stable political vehicle that can be available for them now and the days to come. A vehicle that has a vision and a vehicle that can be able to stand for them with a track record of where it has come from. The meeting of myself and Gachagua was useful for many reasons, and we can fill in all the reasons. The meeting between my party leader and Gachagua, again, you saw it in that barrier, but I leave it to you people and everybody else to try and put, describe what you saw from the optics. But it is important to know that one of the simple statement is this. Personal differences cannot come in the way of the interest of a region, any region, be it Mount Kenya, Coast, Western, Nyanza, wherever, in Garissa, in Northeastern, wherever it is. Those personal differences should not come in the way of the interests of those communities. That's what I believe should be read from. But let me say now this, and I know this is a statement I will say, it will start becoming so controversial. Many people will start reading many things in it. But this is the reality, and this is the truth. In the mountain, the battle will be between DCP and Jubilee Party. That has everything to do with how Jubilee positions itself. You can see how DCP is positioning itself. But it has everything to do with how Jubilee positions itself. And how it positions itself will be influenced by many, many other factors that we can discuss in another forum, in another sitting in this forum. But one other fact that is there for Machara to take home is this. When we sit with the people where I come from, Daragwa, Nyandarua, and they are saying, ni kweli sisi tumekubali. Huyu ambaye ako kwa serikali ameshindwa na kasi ya serikali. Wacha tu kwa mlima lakini kwa Kenya mzima. And that is why this one-term thing is cutting across all regions. But then comes in the other contenders to this throne, which is Kalonzo and Matiang'i. And now it has gotten to a point where everybody is asking sawa, ni nyinyi ndio tunataka. Yes? Sisi tuko na kura. What is the offer you have on the table? Give us the form. Those are the questions that are coming. And whoever talks to them will write to them. If it is not taught to them in plain language, that it is a question of what you are going to do that will help you move to the next level. Kenyans have gone beyond sloganeering now. It's a question whether you have been brought by Gachagua, whether you've been brought by Uhuru, whether you've been brought by akina Kioni and the others. Now it's a question of sawasawa tunakuona hata wewe ni mzuri. What is it that you have for this community, for that community, for the other community, the entire of this country? What is it that you are saying that will be different from where you are? You now must be clear, you must be believable, and you must be debatable. And on top of that, you must be able to have a campaign machinery that we can trust it will unseat William Samoei Ruto with our votes, with the votes of people from Fanga, with the votes from people from Western and everywhere. The game is now more complicated than it was before. Because we now have stopped focusing on the differences between Kioni and Gachagua, between Uhuru and Gachagua. We are now focusing on what you, as a presidential candidate, are going to offer. Who are you? What can you offer? What have you done? What are you capable of doing? So for Herman Manyora, this debate is no longer about who is even bringing you to the table. Hiyo sasa imekwisha hapo. It is a question of you yourself. What are you capable of doing? In two areas. Mobilizing a campaign machinery, and two, having on the table things you want to do to bring changes in the lives of this country. Remember, if we are looking at two individuals who wants to remove Ruto in the name of Matiang'i and Kalonzo, they come from only two communities in a country with 47 communities. So they must be able to say something that is attractive to the other 45, 44 communities. The two communities they come from may be comfortable because our son is going for the top seat. The other communities is a question of what is there for us. It's more complex than any of them wanted it to happen. And now, the ability of the political parties from which these individuals are coming from, and the maturity within those political parties, the way those political parties can manage themselves is also at play. I say that because sometimes, even within Jubilee, I see ourselves focusing on issues that are completely non-issues, given the trophy that is ahead of us. I see us looking at small issues, petty issues, but there's so much work that needs to be done within the less than 500 days that are there. I don't know how it is within Wiper. DCP are not going for the presidency. They are organizing their party. They are growing their party. They are at a different level. They are operating differently. I don't know how it will impact on them when it also dawns on their members that it is not their leader who is on the ballot, but the leader of a neighboring county or a neighboring party. That also weighs very heavily on members of any political party in this country.